Hey there, race fans. It's race day, top 5 with me, Frank 5. Happy Labor Day weekend to you all. I hope you are getting your weekend off to a fabulous start. Obviously, last weekend basically of summer for those of you that are, probably, still in school. This is the last chance for you to actually enjoy summer for a while, though we'll have to go to classes on Monday because, with everything that's going on this year, it's part of the reason why Labor Day weekend's a little bit different this year, but still, we get to enjoy Labor Day weekend this week. Nice time to finally spend the last days on the beach, at the pool. But for NASCAR, it's the first weekend of the playoffs, and what a better way to start the playoffs than with one of the most classic crown jewel events, the Southern 500, the Cookout Southern 500, I might add. So this is the first week of the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs. The racetracks for the playoffs this year are Darlington this upcoming Sunday night, Richmond next Saturday night, and then the following Saturday night, where I will be, hopefully, the Bristol night race. It's going to be a lot of fun. That's the round of 16, and then we got the round of 12 with starting off in Viva Las Vegas. Then we're going to the Super Speedway Talladega, and then we're going to finish it off with the Charlotte Roval, and hopefully I'll be there as well. I have tickets for that, and hopefully I'm able to get access to that. Those are the 3 races for the round of 12, and then the round of 8 we have Kansas, then we go to Texas, and then the round of 8 is going to finish at Martinsville, most likely under the lights, with the lights that we have installed in there, and then the Championship 4 finale will be in the desert in Phoenix, Arizona. This is a really solid playoff set of races that we have. I applaud NASCAR with all the changes they made for the playoff races, adding the Southern 500 and the Bristol night race, going back to, obviously we're doing Richmond night race, and then having Martinsville being the last race to decide who makes it to the Championship 4. This is going to be a fun round of NASCAR playoffs. This is going to be a lot of fun. We can't wait to see what happens. So I'm going to start announcing the drivers that are part of the playoffs, and I'm going to make my predictions for you all. And at the end of the video, I'm going to obviously ask, let me know what you think. But here are the 16 drivers that will be in the playoffs: Kevin Harvick, Denny Hamlin, Brad Keselowski, Joey Logano, Chase Elliott, Martin Truex Jr., Ryan Blaney, Alex Bowman, William Byron, Cole Custer, Austin Dillon, Eric Almirola, Clint Bowyer, Kyle Busch, Kurt Busch, and Matt DiBenedetto. Those are the 16 men that are going to be competing for the playoffs, but only one will reign supreme. So let's look at the round of 16 and who I think will be moving on versus who's going to be eliminated. So if we look at these first couple of races in the playoffs of the round of 16, you've obviously got short tracks with Darlington, Richmond, and as well as Bristol. Looking at all those tracks, I mean, let me just say this right here, right now. Kevin Harvick, Denny Hamlin, they're advancing. Brad Keselowski, Joey Logano, Chase Elliott, Martin Truex Jr., Ryan Blaney, they're going to advance. Then we get a little bit interesting pattern right now. We got Alex Bowman and William Byron. They've run well at those tracks at times, but there's always a little concern about the Chevys. They lost the pace that they were at the beginning of this year, though obviously they've won the last couple of races with Elliott at the Daytona Road Course, and William Byron won on the Oval at Daytona last Saturday night. This is a little bit of an interesting mix. Alex Bowman, at the early portion of this year, was really, really good, and he and Chase Elliott looked to be the best of the Chevy drivers, and they looked to be championship contenders. Chase Elliott still is probably a championship contender. Alex Bowman lost a little bit of pace. The summer did not really go well for Bowman. I mean, he scored a couple top 10s the last couple of weeks, leading up to the postseason, but still, I think the consistency is a little off from where they were earlier this year. Then you've got the Busch brothers. You've got Kyle Busch, Kurt Busch, 2 former champs. Kyle Busch won the championship last year. He doesn't even have a race win this year. Neither does Kurt Busch, even though I'm pretty sure Kurt Busch, he could pull something out of his hat. I mean, obviously, he's mostly famous for the last couple of years winning 1 race in a season. He could probably do that again, or he could get a second win. I mean, we don't know. Eric Almirola has been so good in the summer, and he's been so consistent. He's done really well. He has been building up momentum and playoff points basically by running up in the top 10 each and every week, scoring stage points, battling for race wins at times on tracks that are not even super speedways, where his only 2 wins are on super speedways. He looks really good as well to make a run. And he got his rookie teammate, Cole Custer, which, by the way, because he made the playoffs, he is your Rookie of the Year candidate, since Tyler Reddick, Christopher Bell, and John Nemechek can't catch up to him. Custer, he is really talented, and he's got a lot of potential, but I just got to feel in these short tracks, maybe his Achilles heel. Then you look at Austin Dillon. Richard Childress has definitely made a big step in turning the program around from where they were last year, but Austin Dillon, these first 2 tracks don't really favor him whatsoever. That's how I feel about it. Clint Bowyer, he's a veteran of the sport, and there's still a little bit of questions about Will he be back in the 14 next year? Rumor is that he will be back in the 14, and I also like to confirm that Eric Almirola will be back with Stewart Haas Racing in the 10 car next year for 2021. Clint Bowyer's been okay this year. He hasn't been great. He hasn't been bad. He's just been okay. Kind of like you don't really talk about him a whole lot, and at the end of the day, you see him at the top and like, oh, look, there's Clint Bowyer in the top 10. And then, of course, the feel-good story, Matt DiBenedetto getting the Wood Brothers back into the playoffs for the first time since 2017. Obviously, fending off Jimmy Johnson, 7-time Cup champ, to get into the playoffs last week at Daytona, what was an incredible race. I mean, Matt DiBenedetto is truly the feel-good story, and most people think Matt DiBenedetto at Bristol just fits his, it fits him as far as, it's his playground. He's run so well there. Of course, he almost won the night race at Bristol last year, but I really don't know about him. I mean, it's basically, I mean, one day maybe, but not this year. So bottom line, my 4 drivers that I don't have advancing out of the round of 16, Matt DiBenedetto, Austin Dillon, Cole Custer, and Clint Bowyer. Now, Clint Bowyer, well, yeah, he's won at Richmond before. And yes, he's run well at Bristol before, but I haven't seen race-winning speed from Clint Bowyer this year. I just seen top 10 speed, and I'm not sure if that's good enough. And you're going to Bristol, track where both the Busch brothers are going to be competitive and battling up towards the front. So, I mean, again, Austin Dillon is definitely not going to make it. Matt DiBenedetto isn't going to make it. Though I wouldn't be shocked if DiBenedetto won Bristol because that's how good he is. I wouldn't be shocked if Bowyer won Richmond. That's how good he is there. And he's good at Bristol. I wouldn't even be shocked if Cole Custer were to pull the same thing he did at Kentucky on a late race restart and go 4 wide on somebody, even if it has to be at Darlington this upcoming weekend. But you have to be consistent. And, I mean, other than that Kentucky win, there's been a couple bright moments for Custer, but not so much. So those are the 4 drivers I have missing the playoffs. Now, just a quick point. Kyle Busch could get eliminated in the round of 16, but he probably is going to advance the round of 12, though I wouldn't be shocked if he got eliminated in the round of 16 because he really hasn't been that consistent this year. So looking at the round of 12, Vegas, Talladega, and the Charlotte Roval. Calvin Harvick, Denny Hamlin, they're going to make it. Brad Keselowski, Joey Logano, they're going to run so well at Vegas, Talladega, and the Roval, they should be fine. Chase Elliott, he's going to win the Roval, period. I mean, I'm going to see another Chase Elliott victory at the Roval, most likely. And he's good at Vegas. He was really good there early this year. He was the best car. Would have won if he didn't have a tire. And he's always good at Talladega, though sometimes he kept getting caught up in incidents that probably aren't even his fault. Though, he did just finish second at Daytona last Saturday night, so probably. I mean, Chase Elliott's going to make it, period. Martin Truex Jr., he will make it. He'll run well at Vegas. He may even win that race. He could even win the Roval, too. He almost won it 2 years ago, and he ran so well there last year. And he runs well at Talladega, pending he doesn't get caught up in a crash. Martin Truex Jr. will make it to the round of 8. He'll make it out of the round of 12. Ryan Blaney, I think he's got a good chance to make it as well. Some people are saying, oh, Ryan Blaney runs so well at the beginning of the race, but when it comes down to the very end, Ryan Blaney doesn't do so well. But if you look at these straight tracks, Blaney almost won that race earlier this year when Elliott had his issues, but a late race caution for Ross Chastain hurt Blaney. Talladega, in June, he won that race by literally inches over Ricky Stenhouse Jr. And the inaugural Roval we had in 2018, who won that race when Martin Truex Jr. and Jimmy Johnson tangled on the last 2 corners? Ryan Blaney. So Ryan Blaney has got 3 good racetracks that he runs well at that I expect him to advance into the next round. So I'm going to put Ryan Blaney in. Now the 8th and final spot, this one's a little bit difficult to make because you've got 2 Cup champs, you've got 2 future champs, and then you've got this guy that's been so consistent this year. Here's my bottom line. Kyle Busch, Kurt Busch, Alex Bowman, and William Byron will not advance out of this round. Here's the reason why. Kyle Busch, if he gets to the round of 16, the round of 12, and if he doesn't win a race, it's officially over. Because Kyle Busch has not shown race-winning speed this year. I mean, he's had top 5s, he's had some 2nd and 3rd place finishes, but the guy has one stage point this year. A stage win. That's all he has. Kurt Busch, I'm been a little disappointed in Kurt Busch as well because I thought he would do better and I thought he'd have a win by now, but he doesn't. So I'm a little concerned about Kurt Busch and his performance. Though, would I be shocked if Kurt Busch made it to the round of 8? No, because he can sometimes be so consistent and so quiet that nobody really talks about him. I mean, everybody over the last couple years talks about how great Kyle Busch is, but we're like, oh, but you forget his older brother. He won the championship in 2004, and he has a really solid career, and he's a future Hall of Famer like his brother is. Like a couple other guys that have really, big records and milestones in the sport. Kurt Busch is a future Hall of Famer, though I think he's going to be eliminated at the round of 12. William Byron, I also think is going to be eliminated. I mean, listen, I know he finally got his first win, and it's going to build momentum. He'll make it through the round of 16. But, I mean, Talladega, he can run up front because he just won the Super Speedway Daytona. He ran well at Vegas earlier this year, and he's done well in the Roval, but I don't know. I really don't know. William Byron's a future star, and I think a future champ. But I'm not 100% sure about his chances. I wouldn't be shocked if he made it, though. I would not totally be shocked. I wouldn't even be shocked if Kyle Busch with no wins gets to the round of 8, because that's how good a driver he is. It's just this year's difficult because with no practice and qualifying, it's hurting Kyle Busch. And the final driver that I have, obviously, getting eliminated, Alex Bowman. Yes, he almost won Vegas this year like Blaney did and Elliott did. Yes, he runs well at Talladega. And yes, he finished second at the Roval last year. But that consistency fell off during the summer, so I don't see it for Alex Bowman. He could sneak his way through the round, out of the round of 16 and get to the round of 12, but this is basically where it's the end of the road for Alex Bowman in the playoffs for me. Now we got the round of 8. We got Kansas, Texas, and Martinsville decide who makes the playoffs. Let me just say right here, right now again, Kevin Harvick, Denny Hamlin, they're going to be in the Final Four. So that means 2 spots remain open for grabs. I'm going to start eliminating a couple people. Eric Almirola, consistency, I think is going to come to an end. But he almost made it to the Championship 4 in 2018 with that one win from Talladega when other guys that were ahead of him in the points and running better than him in the race fell into trouble, like Chase Elliott and Kurt Busch, because of Denny Hamlin, obviously. I mean, he was out of the playoffs at that time. So Almirola could make it, but I just think this is going to be the end of the road for him. Ryan Blaney, too. Yeah, he runs well at Kansas. He runs well at Texas, and he does fairly well at Phoenix. I just think if he doesn't win, if he were to win another race before that, would help him. But no, I think this is it for Blaney at the round of 8. That's where he gets eliminated. Joey Logano, our defending Cup Series champ, he has 2 wins this year, but they were before the pandemic happened. Joey Logano's been up and down. I mean, good, bad, whatever way you want to put it. Logano will get to the round of 8. And that's where it's the end of the road for him. These tracks do fare well for him. He's won at Kansas. He's run well at Texas. And he's won at Texas past, but that was obviously way before the track was repaved. And yes, he won at Phoenix earlier this year. Martinsville. Martinsville, my opinion. My apologies. He's won at Martinsville before. But I just haven't seen the consistency from Logano, like race-winning speed and championship speed, to see him in the Championship 4. So those are the 3 drivers I have out. So that means 3 drivers are left. Let me just go in here right here right now. Brad Keselowski is going to the Championship 4. Brad Keselowski is definitely having a really good year with the new crew chief and Jeremy Bullins. They swapped the Penske crew chiefs around, and it'll get all 3 of those guys into the round of 8, but only one's going to advance, and it's Brad Keselowski. He's been the best driver at Penske this year, and he's run really well in a lot of races this year. Obviously, he has the 3 wins. 2 of them were kind of a little bit lucky, some people want to call it, due to misfortunes from the 9 car, Chase Elliott. The other one was a dominant victory at Loudon. He just flat out dominated that race, which was a very good New Hampshire race, by the way. I could see Brad Keselowski making the Championship 4 and being a contender in there. So that leaves 1 spot up for grabs. Chase Elliott or Martin Truex Jr. Well, if we look at Chase Elliott, Kansas this year, he finished 12th. Texas, he finished 12th. And Martinsville, he finished 5th earlier this year. He's almost won the Martinsville race in 2017 that could have sent him to the Championship 4. He's won at Kansas before in 2018, but that was before we introduced the 550 horsepower package last year. And Texas, he was good before they repaved that track. He was running well in that race earlier this year until he pitted, and other guys that were up front, and that they got a late caution, which hurt them and hurt their chances for solid runs and possibly a win. So it's kind of tough to tell between, because I love Chase, he's my guy, but it's kind of tough to tell. Now let's look at Martin Truex Jr. He's won at Kansas. He's won at Texas. And he won the night race in Martinsville earlier this year. And it's probably going to end under the lights this time around. So it's interesting to put between the 2017 champ versus NASCAR's most popular driver. But if I had to pick somebody, just because I like him, Chase Elliott, Final Four. I'm sorry, Truex. If Truex were to make the Championship 4 over Chase Elliott, I mean, like, then so be it. But Championship 4 drivers will be Kevin Harvick, Denny Hamlin, Brad Keselowski, Chase Elliott. All really good at Phoenix. All have run well there. Chase Elliott was the pole sitter earlier this year and had one of the fastest cars until he had to pit late because of an uncontrolled tire or loose tire about a vibration. He had to pit. He got back on the lead lap and he rebounded and finished 7th. He's almost won the 2017 race that's going to send him to the Championship 4. He could have won the 2018 race, and last year he was running well until obviously late with about 100 to go. He cut that tire, ultimately ending his chance to get into the Championship 4 because he needed to win that race after 2 horrible races at Martinsville and Texas. So Elliott is really good at Phoenix, and we've seen that in the past. He really hasn't had any bad results at Phoenix whatsoever. He's only had 3 races where he's finished outside the top 10 at that track. So Chase Elliott's pretty good at Phoenix. Now you go look at Brad Keselowski, a guy who's run well lot of times at Phoenix. Sometimes he's run well, sometimes he's run bad. And then we look at Denny Hamlin, who's a former winner at Phoenix. I mean, Hamlin dominated that race last year and ultimately had the right to win that race. He's just so good. But nobody is great at Phoenix other than Kevin Harvick. He's won there so many times. He is literally the Cactus King at that track. So, right here, right now, Kevin Harvick wins the 2020 Cup Series Championship. I mean, all four of those guys I mentioned that I think are going to make it. Harvick, Hamlin, Elliott, and Keselowski. All four run well there. All have a good chance. But who's the best chance? Kevin Harvick. He is just the Cactus King at Phoenix. He's going to win that race, and he's going to win the championship. Hands down, Kevin Harvick is your 2020 NASCAR Cup Series champion. That's how I look at it. He will be a two-time Cup Series champion by the end of this year when the checkers fall at Phoenix International Raceway, November 8th. So, those are my championship predictions. Those are what I think is going to happen in the playoffs. But let me know what you think down. Like, you know, people watching the video, let me know what you think. You think that something else is going to be a little bit different. And let me know who you think is a non-playoff driver that can play spoiler to some of these races, like Jimmy Johnson in his final season. He's got 10 more chances to win a race. Or Eric Jones, try to finish on a high note because this last year with Gibbs, because he doesn't have a ride lineup for next year. Or Bubba Wallace with, you know, what's going on with him, and is he going to be in the Richard Petty car, or will he be going to Ganassi possibly? What are the rumors there? And who else could win? I mean, will Ricky Stenhouse win at Talladega and make up for the one that was so close to getting him in the playoffs earlier this year in June? I mean, we shall see what happens, but the playoffs start this upcoming weekend with Cookout Southern 500, 6 p.m. on NBCSN. It's a great way to start the playoffs with the Lady in Black, the track too tough to tame. It's going to be a fun race, and I cannot wait to see what happens and which playoff drivers will be strong versus which ones will struggle in that race. It's going to be a fun race to watch. So subscribe, like, let's see how these playoffs work. The NASCAR playoffs are officially here, and they start this upcoming Sunday night. Hope you all enjoy them, and I'll be here to give you the feedback of what I think through every playoff race to see what happens from the first race all the way to the Championship 4 finale in Phoenix, Arizona. This is going to be so much fun. Until then, have a wonderful Labor Day weekend, and I will have my race recap for the Cookout Southern 500 uploaded Monday, because this race is going to end really late Sunday night, and I'm not going to have enough energy to film a race recap video after 10 p.m. when it's, especially when I have to wait for post-race inspection to come into play. That's going to be until like 11:30, and I got to go to bed. So that's what's going to happen, and I'll give you a race recap of the first playoff race of the Cookout Southern 500 Monday. So have a wonderful Labor Day weekend, everybody. Enjoy yourselves. Have a nice time. Stay safe. And enjoy the Southern 500 this upcoming Sunday on NBCSN. See you later.